You know, this bomb in Norway, it's all religious psychosis. People don't understand. Religious beliefs are mental illness. Mental illness.
Did you see a lot of folks who appeared to be injured and others?
It's a mental illness. If they don't address religion as a mental illness,
on the street,
all this thing will continue. All these nuts will running around in Saudi Arabia and all these places. And we have the Christian psychotics here in the United States.
28 stories above it,
These people are no different than Bachman.
The emotion on the
with the curing the gays in a clinic with her stupid cry-psychotic husband of hers.
I couldn't actually see for myself injured people.
Universities,
or an
like Brigham Young universities and stupid universities, so-called universities, that teach all this garbage.
There was not panic.
And this is no difference. What's happening over there? It's all religious psychosis.
Before the emergency responders started to arrive on the scene.
People forget that we create God and all this thinking with our brains.
This is what happened. And people are nuts. And the scientists have to, neuroscientists have to address religious beliefs are a mental illness. The only people that are sane are atheists that lack the stupid psychosis of believing God. And they don't understand that. This will continue.
We're expecting to return to
this will continue.
We don't.
And we have the cry-psychosis in the United States. We have the nuts, the religious nuts in the United States, and many infect the Supreme Court of the United States
5 miles north of this
and run the country.
I'm also looking down at the
look at the problem, the financial problem we're having in the United States, thanks to this Christian nuts of the Tea Party. And these people belong in a mental institution. We're going to be extinct.
I can't tell.
And a catastrophe is going to happen in this country unless these people, these believing resurrecting zombies are no place in mental institutions they belong. And here they are, they believe in the flying prophets, the Muslims, another nuts.
Who've been affected.
This is the problem.
Right, thanks so much, Ian. Appreciate that.
Were published by the Danish newspapers. They were then republished by a Norwegian paper and then republished again last year. So
picture of the Prophet Muhammad.
Sense of outrage among groups in the Islamic world that the Norwegians continue, they feel, to insult the Prophet Muhammad. And also there is Norway's involvement with NATO in Afghanistan and Norway's involvement
religious psychosis there.
Strikes against Libya. So
crazy people stuck in the Middle Ages.
Leading to this speculation.
We have a lot of them in the United States.
Group attacking today.
I think the greatest problem and the cause of all these situations is that the bizarre mathematical beliefs in all religions created in the brain are not linked to neurological disorders like schizophrenia.
According to Oslo police, 2 seriously wounded, and now Reuters is actually reporting that there is a connection between the bombing there in Oslo and the youth camp shooting that Nima was giving us those details about.
The Christian psychotic beliefs are created in the brain, as well as the bizarre mathematical beliefs of the schizophrenic, which are the same thing. Here is the Jim Jones massacre in Guyana, caused by cry-psychosis. They believe in resurrecting zombies.
Look at that. Typical Christianity. That's Christianity for you.
909 people lay dead, many face down. Often the children lying hidden beneath them.
Yeah, mental illness, people.
As I walk through,
Americans with their short memory forget that 900 people committed suicide to seek God in 1978 due to cry-psychosis and illness.
Muslim rituals, even if less than 10 lies in its allowing the believer to approach the center of the world, as well as the place where the Quran's divine revelations began.
In Islam psychosis, just like in schizophrenia, people believe that all the things are real. There is this prophet that resurrected and flies around. As you can see, all these religious psychoses, the so-called Abrahamic religions, there are thousands of religions, they all have blood. The Aztecs believe in a God that has blood. In Peru, the same thing. All over the world, the sacrifice, they always have blood. They couldn't understand it, they have blood. Christians have a resurrecting zombie that says with blood. That's a very bad example to children. A psychopathy and disgusting. That's immoral. The Islamic Psychosis, blood sacrifice. Even the Buddhists are also, which is the most peaceful supposedly religion, but no, they do have their very bad moments, the inner demons. They're psychosis, because all religious beliefs are psychosis. They keep around praying and praying and praying all around the Rendikyo and with the little praying wheels. These people are nuts also. And all of them are like that. The Jews, the same thing. Look at circumcision. They molest children. It is disgusting to cut a child's penis. You know. And in Africa, they cut the clitoris, the phallus, the penis of a female, which is a clitoris, and they cut it too. How come they don't allow, how come a female circumcision is illegal and then male circumcision is okay? It's a double standard there. These people are psychotic, and this is the problem today. Interview these people too, right?
Which is why we are doing it.
Like interview the Christian children that talk to spirits.
Islam is a symbolic act that transcends barriers of time, barriers of pain, and barriers of age.
No, look at all this. All the blood, just like today, it's like the Christians and the Muslim Roman and all the retards, many different religions where blood is sacred. And they do that all the time. And this, of course, never happened. And this God psychosis happened in malfunctioning brains. And all of this torture is caused by Christ psychosis. Look at all this ancient bullshit.
When the scriptures say Jesus Christ rose from the dead, all these followers believe when they die, they will see Jesus again. But one 11-year-old boy,
resurrecting zombies.
His name is Colton Burpo. He says he's already met Jesus. He is for real, which tops today's New York Times list of best-selling paperbacks.
Corrupting the mind of children with this garbage.
He and Colton are live from their...
He should be put in jail for corrupting the kid with all this garbage. Fairy tales.
Thank you. So, Colton, you met Jesus when you were 4 years old. You're 11 now. And you say Jesus has beautiful blue eyes. What else do you remember about him?
He's not black. Of course not. Blue eyes and white.
Actually, I met him...
Moron.
Quite 4, 3, and 10 months, but I had really pretty blue eyes.
Imagination of this guy. This kid.
Any other smile that I've ever seen.
He probably believes Winnie the Pooh is real. Santa is real and all that's real.
And
the parents corrupt the mind of children with this garbage.
Clothes on.
Yeah. Family radio based in Oakland. According to the group's interpretation of the Bible, May 21st will be the day of rapture, when its believers say that they will be taken up to heaven.
We are Ezekiel 33 to blow the trumpet. And that's exactly what...
Look at this Christ psychotics.
American atheists wasted no time posting billboards of their own.
Yeah, but they don't tell like it is.
Enough to read from I-80
you say psychosis. They never mention it.
American atheists David Silverman by phone.
You want to put it right in their face because they are talking nonsense. This is how...
No, they're talking psychosis. Come on, David. Call them for what they are.
Our hope is that
nuts
who are not written by this...
No, the mentally healthy, the atheists.
...will learn from the people who are.
Michael Garcia says family radio reaches listeners from around the globe in several...
You know, this is something interesting. The Oslo bombings. July 22nd, 2011. This is absolutely amazing. These people act this way. So crazy. No different than people suffer from neurological disorders like schizophrenia, psychopathy. Everything is in the brain. We are born lacking belief. Tabula rasa. And then we adopt the beliefs of the parents, the society, and the culture. Unfortunately, the vast majority of children, people that are born in these families with religion, it's religion all over the world. It's a dormant psychosis. And the problem with these kids are born in this, and they are seduced by the fairy tales, by all kind of fairy tales and stories, like little children, you know, all kind of stuff. And religion is composed of bizarre mathematical beliefs, just like any neurological disorder. And this is the greatest problem that atheists and a lot of neuroscientists do not realize. There is no difference between a malfunction of the brain that makes people believe in bizarre mathematical nonsense as they were reality, which are composable religions, and those of people with neurological disorders or drug-addicted people. I mean, you can see God by taking a pill. And also, it can act as a placebo. If I convince someone, a person that is not that well educated, that this pill contains a narcotic that will affect the brain and makes him see things. This is nothing but vitamins anyway. But if I convince them, and they will take it, they will start believing them themselves, hypnotize themselves or auto-suggesting themselves like a placebo that they are actually seeing these things after taking that pill, which is nothing but a vitamin. In religion, the same thing happens, but all religions are composed of these bizarre mathematical beliefs that began about 40,000 years ago. Today, we know there's no excuse today. And they're all composed of all these blood sacrifices and all this blood. Christianity have it's a psychopathy, it's an immorality of belief. It's a sadistic, sadomasochistic belief. They believe in a resurrecting zombie that saves with blood because his blood is sacred. And all Christians have to believe this. The Jews, which are the less psychotic of the bunch because they used to be merchants and they adopted many religions, they still have this blood sacrifice and they practice circumcision. And the Muslims, or which I call Islam psychotics, which has many, many varieties, many strains, they have the sacrifice of Ali, another prophet. And these people are imaginary. In other words, there is no archaeological evidence of none of these people existing. But nevertheless, people have been taught all this nonsense constantly. This makes religion a mental illness, a very dangerous psychopathy. And this happened in Oslo, because the images of the Prophet Muhammad, which there is no evidence he existed either. And people don't see these things. 1700 years ago, when the Christianity was created in the Roman Empire by Constantinus, a criminal, a psychopath, gathering into one, they believe in one God, one religion, which is the Christus, which a Christus means a savior, which has many, many names. Just name a prophet can be a savior. Winnie the Pooh can be a savior, can be a Christus. And children believe that he is real, as well as Santa and the Tooth Fairy. But the retarded and ignorant and children believe he's real. Or people that take some drugs, they believe he's real. And the problem is that neurologists today in this 21st century, they and atheists like Dawkins, these people are clueless. Dawkins writes a book. The God delusion. The man is brilliant, but he's clueless. He never said once in this book that the brain is the one that create the same bizarre mathematical beliefs of all religions and the same of schizophrenia, schizotypal disorder. It doesn't mention. He just escapes them. The same thing with Sam Harris and Hitchens and many, many atheists. Where are these people at? This is the problem in the United States of America. These atheists are clueless. They don't focus on the main problem. And the problem is that we are born atheists. I mean, I granted that Richard Dawkins said that we are born. I mean, a miracle. He said that. Whoopee. But everything else is clueless. He talks about Jehovah is a bad God and all this stuff, but it doesn't realize that all the gods are bad. All gods are imaginary friends that are no different than imaginary friends or gods produced by a schizophrenia-affected brain, or those with a temporal lobe epilepsy, or ones that had trauma to the head, or a person that ingested too many drugs. And Dawkins, I don't know that. There's no excuse for him to be so clueless about this thing. I mean, the man is brilliant, but gosh, I don't believe him. This is the problem. You cannot discuss reality with schizophrenics.
The God of the Old Testament is arguably the most unpleasant character in all fiction. Just unforgiving control freak, a vindictive, bloodthirsty ethnic cleanser, a misogynistic, homophobic, racist, infanticidal, pestilential, megalomaniacal, sadomasochistic...
He misses the point.
...malevolent bully.
Dawkins misses the point.
Hello, Dawkins. All gods are imaginary friends, creations of malfunctioning brains. Please study neurology. Tell your friend Shermer and brilliant scientists like Neil deGrasse Tyson that believing malfunctioning brains creates the psychosis
see that?
of God.
See how sick he is? See that? See that? It's just no way you can convince these people of reality. None. They're schizophrenic.
The statement is, what reward did Christ receive?
See, he wants to go to heaven. And kill himself. See that?
The theology is life and death. Yes, sir.
See that?
Finally, after 90 minutes, a ceasefire.
So how's God going to talk to me in the latter days? And who's going to bring that book? So there'll be no excuses.
They were sending agents literally all over the world trying to scramble and find out anything they could, any former Davidian, anybody who knew anything about these people.
See, neurologists!
FBI profilers.
They can tell you what's going on.
Report up the chain.
Idiots!
Associated with psychopaths.
Exactly. A
His
Christian.
Have low self-esteem.
Yeah.
Are unable
psychotic
to
like all religious people
are easily
are.
Manipulated.
Exactly. All religious people suffer from that.
The FBI.
Still went
of course, he was psychotic.
To the whole world.
Of course, he was sick.
Full of hope in his own body.
He's going to be a saint.
Slouched over, paralyzed with Parkinson's. And went all over the planet, bringing hope.
Worse than Parkinson's was Christ psychosis.
About this man's life.
Full-blown schizophrenia.
I want to ask you. I mean, certainly the pedophile pre-scandals.
Oh boy, that's natural in Catholicism and Christianity.
I really hope that the fact
he's rotting away. Bacteria is eating his remains. That's the fact.
Some people.
That's life after death.
Gain some knowledge as to what he actually did while he was alive and the good that he...
The man was a schizophrenic, was Christ psychotic. He was sick.
The problem is that Americans have a very, very short memory. Very short memory. And they are very ignorant as far as history and all that is concerned. They are probably too involved in, with the iPhones and technology and the little toys. And that contributes to their ignorance. A lot of them, they don't even know how to write or add or subtract. They use a little, the calculators. And that is a disaster. That's ignorance. That's just the Chinese are so more advanced than we are. And the Chinese is a very good example. They eradicate and they don't allow the Christ psychotics, people that believe in resurrecting zombies, which are the majority in the United States of America. It's a cancer of the brain. And the Chinese know it. They don't allow these nuts being around in government. And they kick him out. And I don't blame them. I mean, they are the people that believe in God and all this crap. They are absolutely, they're sick. And this is the main problem. And so they worry about Oslo with the Islam psychotics, killed some people in Oslo, 20 people. But the Americans forget about Nazism. Christian Hitler killed 6 million Christ killers, so-called Jews, and all because of Christianity, Christ psychosis. And it's right there. It's so evident. You have to be very stupid or ignorant to realize it. And the same thing about the Crusades. That's another example. What about 1978, Bob Jones? Not Bob Jones, Jim Jones, or the Guyana Massacre. There it is, 900 people. Oslo had only, what, 20? It's not that many. But they forget that the reason is religious beliefs, a psychosis that nobody sees, including Dawkins and a lot of neuroscientists and Michael Shermer of Skeptic Magazine. They talk about everything except the psychosis of God belief. They never link and connect a schizophrenia and a schizotypy disorder to a neurological disorder, like Dr. Sapolsky does. He doesn't quite say it, but he connects it. He merely says, hey, it's a psychopathy. It's a schizotypy. Metamagical thinking that happens in all religions and also in neurological disorders. People, we create thought with the brain. We don't create thought with the heart. We don't create thought with our asses, or with the liver, or with the stomach, or the lungs. We create thought with the brain. When the brain malfunctions, it creates disturbed thoughts. It's like when your eyes malfunction, you cannot see well. You know, if you have a myopia, you have a problem with your eyes, or somebody puts a little chemical that screws up your eyes, you cannot describe a painting that you see. You cannot see it. You'll stumble all over the place. This is exactly what happens to people of faith, religious people. They are sick people, and they should be treated as such. Just no different than people suffer from Alzheimer's, from depression, from schizophrenia, from schizotypal disease, from temporal lobe epilepsy, cognitive dissonance, and so on, so on, so on. So many diseases that happen, and nobody is religious as well. And these people are nuts, and they act accordingly to their delusions. There is no such a thing as resurrecting saviors or prophets that jump around. And the Islam psychotics, they're all Islam. Islam is a psychosis. It's divided in many sects. The people go and pray and pray and pray, and of course, occasionally, that psychosis blows up. And people of faith are nothing but tremendous massacres or accidents waiting for a place to happen. They are sick people. You know, sometimes it's okay, people of faith, but you never know when they're going to explode, like Jim Jones, Koresh, and the rest of the people. And they are allowed to create their... This is the problem in the United States of America. So the atheists of the United States of America, they should all resign. You know, they should have somebody with knowledge and history and that knows about the science to become the president of the Atheist Society of United States of America. It has to be somebody with knowledge and intelligence, a neurologist, somebody that knows about it. You know, but the people are the American Atheist Society. They're clowns. These people are clueless. They don't understand the main problem is religious faith, which is nothing but a form of psychosis. It's a disturbance of the brain, especially the person who is educated. Now, people are ignorant and not that well educated, then do have an excuse because they allow superstition and all this ignorance to float around and create all this stuff. But if you're educated, like Francis Collins is a perfect good example. The man is sick, and he was the head of the Genome Project.
Arrest still being held somewhere.
But church members have said Christ psychotic morons in jail.
Anyway, in defiance of the threat from the police.
This is shit infecting the mind of children.
Turn up, but we have seen plainclothes police coming towards us, even turning their cameras on.
Good.
Now to wear the service was meant to be held. Let's see how far we can go.
It's a psychosis.
Yeah.
I'm glad China is doing the right thing.
Happy Easter. Happy Easter.
They already destroyed the United States with the garbage.
We're trying to get through.
The Easter crap. If they will take it as science fiction or mythology, it's okay. But when they corrupt the mind of children with those lies, these pieces of shit Christians, the Christ psychotic should be taken out.
Okay.
That's right, leave.
Okay, let's go, Brett, let's go.
Exactly.
Clearly, we're being...
I agree with China.
These people don't want us here. We're not going to be able to get to see the church service today, so...
Exactly. Putting nothing on silence.
The key to sanity and to solve the problems today is, number one, to understand we are evolved, mutated primates. Like all those animals, DNA mutations prove it. We're mutations. We are a product of a sperm and egg. And we are crazy apes. We have cognition. But in our bodies, we're animals, just like any other mammal. And it's important to realize that we are born lacking belief. In other words, atheist. That's what atheism means. Lacking belief on anything like that. Crazy stuff. We are mutated, evolved primates that create thinking, the mind, with our brains. We feed our brains with knowledge, with cognition, and all that, and we are kind of navigating through a world between fantasy and reality constantly. We are feeding ourselves, but the thing that makes us feel good is dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, these neurotransmitters in the brain that create a feel-good feeling. It's something that feels good, and it makes you feel good when you go watch science fiction movies, when you imagine that you're from a different planet, when you imagine all these fantasies, and you get away from your homework and from the reality of life. You know, you get away from it. You start studying algebra or study, studying history or something and understanding all that stuff like that. You get involved in there. That's hard. So your mind wanders, and you want to get away from all that and get into the fantasy world. That's where religions come in, and you have to be very careful. You see, very few people are very intellectually intelligent, summa cum laude and straight A students. The majority are mediocre, and some are, they're bad because they like to play around in class. They don't like to learn things. And that's normally human beings. But we have to realize we're evolved mutated primates that create the mind, create thoughts, especially the psychosis of belief in imaginary friends like God and all that with our brains. And if we start accepting, we are educated, start accepting all these things, UFO abductions, conspiracy theories, and all this stuff. The aliens came around and created the pyramids. Even though the pyramids are stone, these people are so stupid. They don't realize that aliens are not going to create things out of stone. That's so stupid. So anyway, you start believing in all this stuff and believing in resurrected saviors and zombies and all that stuff, angels and demonic possession. You're sick. You belong in a mental institution. You're no different than a schizophrenic or schizotypal. But since you believe in God, the world makes you believe in your personal faith that you're okay. But you're not. You're sick. And you have a cancer of the brain. You have an HIV virus of the mind inside of you. If you believe in God, you're a time bomb. And this is the problem in this planet. If we don't address it, we'll become extinct. Back to the oral.